Want more Stilly Social updates? Make sure you go follow us on Instagram and Twitter. That's at Stilly Social. Hope you guys enjoy. After the 8,544 days that was the school year, it's finally over.
Woo!
Finally.
Yeah, this was. I don't know if that's how long the school year was or the semester, because this semester, I don't know about you guys.
You
It was
could
just
probably
long.
just equate it to the month of April. And I think that's an accurate representation of what happened. Anyway, welcome everybody to episode 3 of the Stilly Social Podcast. I'm your host, Nathan McPhee. That's Mr. Jonathan J.B. Bartle.
Hello.
And so for this episode, we're just probably going to talk mostly about, the year in review here in Oklahoma State and in the Stillwater community. And boy, what an interesting year it was.
It felt like first semester felt like boom, it just happened. It was over. Second semester though, longest 6 years of my life right there, Nanny.
Yeah, no doubt. It was the second semester was incredibly long for obvious reasons. The whole online class situation, a lot of people didn't like it.
Yeah, I'm glad to
Um,
be done with that.
Honestly, I didn't really have a problem with it, but I could see where people come from not being able to ask questions in class and all that. But overall, it was a very interesting semester trying to learn how to work from home or the apartment or wherever you all studied at. And I'm honestly just exceptionally glad that it's over.
I am too. I'm ready for in-state schooling next semester, which I am. I don't know about you guys, but I am more than ready to be back in person and seeing actual people. That will be amazing.
I am too. So now we're going to talk about just kind of recap what all happened this year. First, our thoughts and impressions of being just a freshman for Jonathan and a sophomore for me, or our freshman and sophomore years. What about you, Jonathan? What'd you think of the school year, your first year in college?
I think despite circumstances, I think this was a really, really good start to my college career. I think I don't really know what I was expecting to get in college. I was actually after high school, I was just like, now what? I don't know what to do. I don't know what I'm going to be doing. And I was just kind of confused, didn't know what to expect. But getting to college, I think I was more than ready for it when I actually got onto campus and started realizing, oh, shoot, I'm alone here unless I meet friends and talk to people. So I started saying hi to everybody. And that got me a pretty solid friend group because a lot of people in my dorm hall, especially, they didn't know me, but I was just the guy that said hi to them. So that got me a good start. And then overall, I think it was a good year from socially. I made a lot of friends. Club wise, I joined. Oh my gosh, I don't know, sailing club, tractor pull, motorsports, which I didn't really show up to the meetings, but I still met a couple people. Flying
Did,
Aggies crew.
did you say tractor pull?
Yeah, I don't remember signing up for it, but I started getting emails for tractor pull, so I talked to a couple guys on it, and then I just never showed up to the meetings. But I mean, I was still a member, so
I could see you wearing a cowboy hat at a tractor pull tournament. Just feel the horsepower.
I should have showed up to a meeting, but I never did. I for a long time though, I told my friends, yeah, I'm like, I got land, I got sea, and I got air with the Flying Aggies, Sailing Club, and Tractor Pull. But I'd say probably the best part of the year was joining Crew. I think we're not sponsored by Crew, not sponsored, but joining Crew I think was probably the best decision I've made this school year. It got me a great friend group, a pretty solid friend group, all focused on one goal of knowing God better and growing your faith through that. And I get to do leadership next year, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, that's about my impressions. It was a good year despite again Corona and circumstances. But yeah,
What was your favorite event that happened during the school year, or event that you'll remember for like that came out of your freshman year that you're gonna remember for a long time?
ooh, ooh. I'm not gonna say COVID because that wasn't really fun. I didn't enjoy that, but I'm gonna remember this forever. I think it's going to be winter conference with crew in Dallas. That wasn't Yeah, that was in the middle of school year. That was winter break, but I think that was just a fun moment. I became better friends with a lot of people within crew, and I feel like I feel like that's going to live with me forever. What I did there, we volunteered in Dallas and went to some neighborhoods and did surveys for a local community church, and I think that's going to stick with me forever. I think that's the most fun I've had. Yeah. How about yourself?
For me, honestly, there's a lot of stuff that happened this year. Probably one thing that I started doing this year compared to last year that I think like it maybe not really helped my grades that much, but going down to the basement or just the library in general to study with friends. I mean, last year I was pretty much just like cooped up in my dorm room just studying there by myself, and this year I had a more friend group and we all went down to the basement of the library, and that's where we spent most of our days just I wouldn't say studying because there was
Oh,
not a lot of studying that went on down there, but
yeah. For me, it was a lot of Johnny Rockets and messing around.
you this man okay guys, this man he I swear he had Johnny Rockets 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. He'd walk into the library at lunchtime and he'd have a burger and a shake. I'd be like, dude, this can't be healthy for you.
Yeah, it probably was it. I mean, I gained 20 pounds this semester, so I mean, I'm not complaining. Went from 120 to 145. I call that healthy. I don't know about y'all, but the basement. Anyway, keep going on that.
So yeah, the basement, like it's I mean, like studying wise, yeah, I did get some stuff done, but it was a place that we could, just go together, talk, have fun, make jokes, just stuff like that. And I that's something that I definitely plan on doing more of the next 2 years, is hanging out down there. So if y'all are ever in the library and you want people to study with, come down to the basement. That's where I'll be.
Yeah, that's actually how Nanny and I met each other. I remember it was the first day of second semester. I walked to the basement early before class and saw Nanny. I didn't really know Nanny. I knew of Nanny, but I didn't know him. I used to call him Manny with an M for the longest time. But hung out with Nanny for a little bit before my class, and I think that's kind of how we got our friendship started.
Yeah, that and crew too is how we
Oh,
met, became friends, and how we started
crew
this
lead.
podcast.
Yeah.
So now what about sporting events? I know that I don't know your entire history, like fandom of like what your favorite college was back in high school when you were up in Minnesota or any of that. But what did you expect when about sporting events versus what they turned out to be when you came here to OSU?
I didn't know what to expect. I grew up being a Badger fan. I told my dad I was going to be a Badger fan and I was going to go to school with the Wisconsin Badgers. And going to Oklahoma State, well, I guess let's backtrack. First off, I never expected to live in Oklahoma. This was kind of I saw it on a map. I'm like, oh, the Dust Bowl happened there, whatever. I never expected to live here. And kind of just coming here and going to Oklahoma State, I didn't know what to expect. Like I didn't know anything about their academics, their athletics, their culture. I knew nothing about this college, so I kind of took a bet and just like, yeah, no, it feels right. I feel like I should go here, so I did. I don't regret it. But sports wise, I love going to the games. I went to I think every football game except for Bedlam and one more. But I was a paddle person. And I
You
really
you didn't
enjoyed
go to
the
Bedlam?
games. No, I was sick for Bedlam. I was sick for 6 weeks, and I partially blame paddle people for that. I We pulled a lot of all nighters for that because sleeping outside the stadium on what is essentially a sleeping bag on concrete is not very comfortable. And
That that actually happened.
yeah, well, paddle people, if you don't know, they do camp outs, and what those are is you get a tent, and sometimes if you're early enough, you get a tent and a air mattress or a cot. I uh, I usually had homework. I'd finish my homework for the weekend on the Friday, then do the camp out. So I didn't always get the best nights of sleep. I switched to a hammock later in the season, but I still didn't enjoy it. That was just a lot of lost sleep. So I got sick. Didn't feel like going to Bedlam because I felt sick. I was sick for 6 weeks, but yeah. But getting back to sports, I think football was better than I thought. I don't like watching football on TV. I grew up in hockey, and hockey is a fast sport. Going from any other sport, from watching hockey to football, football seems pretty slow. But I loved going to games. I tried to go as many as I could. Then when football stopped, I started going to basketball. I think the first time I ever attended a basketball game was at Oklahoma State. And I didn't know much about basketball, wasn't a huge basketball fan growing up, so a couple people in crew, I think mainly a buddy of ours, Austin Waters, and I think Nanny and another friend named Cam said, "Hey, you gotta go to these basketball games. They're pretty cool." So I started doing that, and I enjoyed those. I started going to those probably halfway through the season. I just started going to every single basketball game I could. I'd clear homework out. I would do whatever I could just to go to basketball games.
Yeah,
And
that's sporting events is it's definitely one of the big things here.
they're
They're,
fun. They're crazy fun.
now I know we don't have hockey, which is kind of probably upsetting to you, but
Oh
not gonna
yeah,
lie, if we did, I'd definitely show up to the games.
yeah. I think I don't know. There's probably not enough of a following here, but I think Oklahoma State games are fun. Then you got me actually, Nanny. You got me to start going to baseball games, which, as I joke around with my friends, whenever I go to a baseball game, I said,
Yeah,
"Yeah, I'll get."
you would say that I can't sit through 9 innings of baseball. I remember
No,
what
well,
I remember one time I got so mad at you for saying that.
I said, "Yeah, I'll go to a baseball game. I'll get my 9 minutes in," because I kept telling Nanny and a couple others, "You go to a baseball game to tell your friends, yeah, I went to the baseball game. You watch 9 minutes of actual playtime, and you tell everybody what happened."
That's not how it goes. Not at all.
So whenever I go to a baseball game, I say I'll tell people, yeah, I'll get my 9 minutes in. And Nanny did not like that.
Hey,
I
at least
caused.
at least you didn't say it to the older fans in the stadium. They would have probably wrung your neck.
No, I think so too. Yeah, some people got serious into baseball. There's a guy showed up with an orange construction hat, a cape, and I think OSU pajamas. Like people get into baseball here. It's crazy. But yeah, how about you in sporting? What did you view sporting like this year?
I tried to go to as many sporting events as I possibly could. I made it to a couple of the soccer games early in the year. Of course, I was at all the football games, all the wrestling duels. I went to most of the baseball games before the season got terminated. But yeah, I think probably my favorite game that I went to this year was that K State game where Chuba rushed for almost 300 yards. I remember standing. That was that rain delay game too,
Yeah,
to
that was
where
fun.
yeah, a storm had popped up like just southwest of town, and there was lightning everywhere, and they came over the PA system, and they were like, "Please go to safety. We
Yeah, I
are in a
remember that.
delay."
For a
And
moment
I'm
there, I
just
thought you were talking about the K-State basketball game in which our student newspaper put chair or stools in the newspaper, and we kind of mocked Kansas because I think the game before we played Kansas, there was a big brawl between K-State and Kansas. I thought you were talking about that for a moment.
no. So I remember we were up high in the stands in the student section before, and then everyone left for the rain delay, and we moved down to that bottom section right behind the paddle people.
Oh yeah.
And I remember chanting Chuba and all that, and that was I mean, sporting events like they're not what college is all about, but I think that's where you get most of your memories from
Oh,
in
I think I
college.
definitely I have a lot of memories for going to sporting events. I think that was one of the times where I could forget about schooling. Like, okay, yeah, I can relax, I can focus on my friends. And that was just great social time for me. I mean, I liked watching the games, don't get me wrong, but hanging out with your friends is also another great experience when you're at a football game.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about baseball too, and that's why I was so upset when everything started getting canceled because I'm like, dude, baseball is my way to get away from everything.
Nanny is a huge baseball fan, if you guys did not know.
Yes, sir.
If you look at his Twitter, I think every other time I check Twitter, Nanny's retweeted something about some baseball update. And I don't know what he's talking about. I'm not a big baseball follower, but I always make sure to like him. But yeah, what other impressions for this year do we have? What else happened other than athletics?
Well, do you remember? I think it was in October. The library quote. Doing the air quotes. The shooting.
Oh
That was
yeah.
crazy. So I was in I was in my animal biology lab when that happened, and I didn't hear anything about it. Blah blah blah. And like we heard some sirens and stuff outside the building. Didn't think much about it until I got a call from my dad, and he was like, "There's a so my dad works here on campus. He's the risk and property management director, and so he's like really tied into with this stuff. So he called me and he was like, "There's a report of a shooting on campus. Nothing's really going on. Just stay where you're at." Blah blah blah. And I was like, "Huh." That's weird because OSU hadn't sent out any like text or anything yet to say like stay shelter in place. And then 5 minutes after that, we get a text from OSU, and I was like, "Oh, well, this doesn't seem very efficient."
I remember I was in Kerr Drummond. I had just gotten done with my day, and I think it was on a Wednesday, if I'm remembering
I
right. I
I
think
think
this.
so because I think my animal bio lab was Wednesday morning.
I'd have to remember, but I know I was done for the day. It was about mid-afternoon. It's probably around lunchtime for me, which was probably around 1 or 2 o'clock for semester. But I'd gone to Kerr Drummond. I see an OSU police car just racing down Farm. Is it called Farm Street or Farm Road?
The one by
By
Ag
the
Hall.
Colvin Villages.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
Farm Road.
yeah, yep. And I just saw him screaming down. I guessed he was going about 60 miles an hour, and I thought that's crazy for active school session going on right now. But then I get a phone call from my mom saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I don't know what's happening yet." She said, "There's a shooting at the library. Are you near that?" I said, "Yeah, I'm about 7 minute walk away. Why?" She's like, "Just stay away from there." I'm like, "Okay, I'll do that." I didn't really know. I didn't really know what was happening. But I was like, "Okay, my mom's worried, so I'm just gonna stay put." And and then I got the update. I got the email, the phone call, and the text message from Oklahoma State. I was like, "Oh, something's happening." But yeah, that was just crazy. I thought during the whole situation, I thought it was just crazy. The students' reactions, and
Okay,
I had a
the students' reactions were weird though, because when the sheriff's department and the tactical team and stuff was still in the building clearing the building, everyone was just gathered outside, just sitting on the fountain, just chilling, just watching everything. I mean, you got guys standing at the front doors with freaking AR-15s, just like, huh?
well, I thought okay. I didn't notice that. Again, I was in Kerr Drummond, but a lot of my friends were texting me like, "I heard there's multiple gunshots. I'm in the library. I can confirm this." And then a lot of people were just like, "No, nothing's happening. I was in the library. Nothing happened." There's just a lot of confusion on what was actually happening. So I mean, I uh, I just didn't listen to people. I just waited for the Oklahoma State updates, but it was just wild what people were saying was happened versus what we found out actually happened, and it was probably a nail gun.
So I think what they came out and said was that it was construction with something out at the baseball stadium. I I don't remember the official report of what the police department put out, but it was something to do with construction.
Yeah, I remember
I
construction
know that they
noises.
were doing construction in the library, but I think it was something to do with the new baseball stadium.
Huh.
Which that in itself's a whole nother topic. I don't, I was so upset when they canceled the rest of the spring sports season because of course it had to happen on the year where we get the state of the art new multi-million dollar baseball facility.
And George W. Bush was supposed to throw the first pitch for us.
Yeah,
Tickets sold out within 30 minutes of opening.
that would have been insane to witness. I mean, I think the operating capacity is 3,500, but it could be
Holy cow.
expanded up to 8,000. So I would assume that there would have been more than 4,000 people there, and
Oh,
that would have
yeah.
been insane for a baseball game here.
I think what I'm going to have to do is a lot of people are graduating, and so a lot of the tickets, they're just going to have to redo the whole auction process of first come, first serve. I think as soon as the baseball tickets open up, I'm going to get my student ticket as soon as I can because I want to be there for that first game.
Yeah, that'll be next year though. I don't. That's like 300 days
Yeah.
away. I don't know. That just made me so upset, and I feel bad for all the student athletes out there, especially like the spring sports athletes, baseball, softball, tennis, golf, all that stuff. I mean, they had all their rest of their games canceled, all their national championships canceled. I mean, I definitely feel for them, but I also feel for the fans too. I mean, you especially for the baseball stuff. I mean, you're looking forward to that for the whole dang year.
And you just get that taken away from you. Yeah, and it's out of everybody's control. Nobody could. Yeah, that just sucks for them.
Yeah, it's just a overall bad situation. But I mean, they're not just the second semester. There's a lot of interesting stuff that happened the first semester too. I mean, you had a you had sadly T Boone Pickens pass away, and I mean, of course, he's the biggest owner in OSU history. The stadium's named after him.
Yeah.
You had the opening of the McKnight Center, which is state of the art for pretty much anywhere in the United States. Very, I've never been in there before, and I'm not a big music person, but if I could go watch like an orchestra or something, and I definitely would. That's just how cool that place looks from the outside.
I agree with that. I've never been inside yet. I've wanted to, but I guess I didn't really have the time to go see a piano concert or something. But yeah.
I know I have a couple friends who are in the like arts department and music department and stuff, and yeah, they've told me that it's really 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 nice in there.
Hmm.
So that's something
Okay.
that I definitely look forward to in the future. And then also, of course, the after the reported shots fired, that was October 15th. That was early on in the semester. And then a couple big sporting events or big sports related things happened. On November 5th, Cade Cunningham committed to OSU. He won at the time, but now he's rated as the number one point guard recruit of all time in college recruiting history. So that's a huge pickup for Mike Boynton and the basketball team.
Yeah, I
And then
think
of course,
that'll be a good asset for Oklahoma State if we can pull them off and get good at basketball this year.
yeah, and I think that's something that people are definitely football and basketball with everything that's going on. People are hoping that we'll be allowed to be in the stadium or the arena and be able to watch it because we should be very good in both sports this year.
Yeah, I hope so.
And then of course, and the second big sporting thing that happened in January 13th, early on, and I think that was the day or the weekend before we came back for the second semester. Chuba Hubbard announced he's returning for his uh, third season, his fourth season. He's a red. I don't know, but he's returning to OSU for technically his junior season. So that's big. And then of course you got Tylen Wallace coming back. You got Spencer Sanders has an extra year under his belt. I mean, it's just like looking forward. I just keep getting more and more like optimistic and excited about whether or not sports are going to be able to continue.
Yeah, personally, I think I had a chat with a couple people last semester. I think Oklahoma State needs to work on their athletics game a lot. I think we're a pretty average school. We do well, yes, but we also don't do well in a lot. I think Oklahoma State should work on becoming number one in the Big 12. I think these new Chuba coming back, the basketball player. I think this will be a good year in sports, but I don't think we're going to be anywhere near capable of what Mike Gundy said in football, getting a national championship.
Yeah, we're still miles away from that, but
I think
hopefully we're building that direction.
I
Hopefully.
think that's the goal. I hope the goal is always to get a national championship, but I don't think besides wrestling that's going to happen in football or basketball this year.
And then January 17th, OSU announced a $50 million donation from Larry and Kayleen Ferguson to create the Ferguson College of Agriculture, which will also replace a building, the old Ag Hall. It'll be kind of in that little parking lot by Ag Hall, by the post office area, by Noble Research Center. That's where they're going to put it in. So that'll be a big addition to the university and the college, there, the Department of Agriculture. And so then June 24th, another big departmental change happened. The Oklahoma and A&M Board of Regents approved College of Education, Health, and Aviation and the College of Human Sciences are merging to create the College of Education and Human Sciences, and that'll start with the upcoming academic year. So that's a change in academics for OSU.
Oh yeah. Now I'm going to interrupt a little bit here. So both, I used to be in the ag school, which was formerly the College of Agricultural Sciences and Natural Resources. I used to be an ag kid, yes, but now I'm in CAS. I study microbiology in CAS. But a lot of ag kids, well, I guess not a lot of ag kids, but a lot of people in the natural resources didn't like that they were being cut out of the name and that it was the Ferguson School of Agriculture. Like biochemistry and molecular biology, which is what I studied in the ag school, is I suppose you could call it a natural resource or a natural science, definitely, but it's not an ag school. So when it was renamed the Ferguson School of Agriculture, some people like me didn't really like that. And then next, on the renaming of the college, with that mixed the College of Health and Aviation with the College of Education and Human Sciences. I think a lot of my friends in the Flying Aggies don't like that aviation is not included in the new name because aviation, it's not. I'd say it's pretty good at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's one of the best schools to fly in the nation. So a lot of them were kind of upset that their major was not in the new name.
Yeah, I think they definitely could have done better about renaming that both of them, but at the same time, especially the College of Education, Health and Aviation, like that, those two needed to be consolidated for financial reasons and blah blah blah. But
Yeah.
I definitely think that they could have done better with naming the
And I
new
think
college.
because it's a merger, I think because it was a merger of two colleges, it wasn't somebody buying out the college's name. I think there's hope for a petition to rename it and include aviation in the title for those folks. But with the Ferguson School of Agriculture, that's a $50 that was $50 million to buy out the name, so that's not going to be changed for a long, long time.
So anyway, moving on now, we go to March 18th, which was when OSU chose to move all classes online for the remainder of the 2020 semester.
Boo.
Yeah, it was sad, but it was warranted. And then, of course, March 20th, which was supposed to be the opening of O'Brate Stadium, George W. Bush, former president, was set to throw out the first pitch. That didn't happen. But then something that did happen that people within the sports community of OSU had been pushing for a long, long time. On April 3rd, former basketball coach Eddie Sutton was finally elected into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, and it was honestly it's about dang time. He was head coach for OSU for 16 years. That he led us to 13 NCAA tournaments, and all 13 were 21 seasons and two Final Four appearances in 1995 and 2004. And he, in his 37-year coaching career, I think he coached at Arkansas and Kentucky, if I'm not wrong. He amassed 806 wins, which is the 11th most for a college basketball coach all time, which is pretty dang impressive.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
And then, of course, probably the biggest two events in the semester. On April 15th, the Stilly Social Podcast was founded, and then April 24th, the first episode was released. Absolutely groundbreaking. Not trying to toot our own horn or anything here, but no. So yeah, overall, it's been, if you even if you take away the whole coronavirus situation, the whole COVID-19 thing, this year was a very interesting year in terms of everything that went on, sporting events, academics wise, and of course podcast wise with us.
Yep.
So now that we've talked about all the stuff that happened this year, all the crazy stuff, all the interesting stuff, all the changes that have been made on campus and throughout the community. What is some stuff that we have to look forward to next year, in your opinion, as college students, Jonathan?
In person classes.
Yes,
Boom. That's it. That's all we have to look forward to.
I think there's probably a little bit more than that, but yeah, that's definitely the big one.
Well, I mean, from my perspective, we're getting rid of Johnny Rockets. That will not be there next year.
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
Um,
whoa, 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 whoa! Hold up, what?
yeah, you didn't know. This was huge.
I did not know this. Okay, go
I,
explain.
I'm pretty sure that Johnny Rockets is going away. I know a lot of people that I talked to were talking about it. a lot of people were like, "Yeah, it needs to go. It's the greasiest food on campus." But it's like you don't have to eat there. People like me like to eat that, and we
Yeah,
like
5 times a week.
5 times a week, baby. My breakfast was at 11:45 because I would have just gotten done with class at 11:30. It was a burger and shake every single day. Beautiful. Um, I'm gonna eat healthier next semester, I promise. But
Well,
Johnny
yeah, I
Rockets is
mean,
going away,
if they
and
take out Johnny Rockets, you're gonna have to eat healthier because that's all you ate.
that's like my breakfast, and then dinner I'd get Chick-fil-A, and then my lunch, which was like 3 o'clock, was uh, which.
I seriously did not know that until just now.
Yeah, I'm sad because Johnny Rockets is the best place to get ice cream on campus. They have pretty good shakes. Yeah, I mean, which has shakes, but it's nowhere near the quality of Johnny Rockets. Johnny Rockets was made with love.
What if that's going away, what restaurant do you think they should put in there in place of it?
I think honestly another American style restaurant because if in the student union we already have Mexican, which is Baja Fresh, we have a deli, we have Chick-fil-A, we have I think there's an Asian option. There's an Asian option in North Dining. There's Mediterranean in North Dining. Human Sciences is American, but I mean that's kind of long lines and hard to get to. But I kind of think another American style restaurant would go in, whether it's a pizza place. I mean, we do have Mambo Italiano, but that's mediocre at best. Well, I suppose they couldn't do pizza because of Linguides and Kurt Drummond, though that's supposed to be demolished, I think. When is that going to be demolished?
We don't know.
We
They've
don't
been saying
know.
that. They've been saying that for like the last 15 years.
Oh, okay, so we don't know. But I don't know. I think it should be like another burger joint. That's what I would be happy with. Not McDonald's, not Burger King.
Wendy's.
Growing up near Chicago, I guess I spent the first 3 years of my life in Chicago, but we'd always go back there. We'd visit Chicago in the summers when I was growing up. I'm a big fan of the Chicago style Johnny Rockets, so I mean, if we're gonna keep with the Chicago thing, Portillo's is pretty good. If any of you guys know what that is,
I've no, I've never heard of that. I've
it's like
never
a,
been to Chicago.
I think it's like a, if I remember right, it's like they have hot dogs, spaghetti, burgers, and shakes. They had the original chocolate cake shake, and it is amazing.
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if it is going to, or if they are taking it out. That'd be something that we'd like to hear from y'all out there that are listening. You know, we'll put a poll up on our Instagram page at Stilly Social. Follow us on Twitter too at Stilly Social. We'll put a poll up to see, you know, like what restaurant do you want to see in the Union to replace Johnny Rockets? I think that'd be an interesting poll to see what y'all think about it.
Yes, Dairy Queen.
Dairy Queen. I'm saying Wendy's. You get a 4 for 4 meal in there. Cheap, dirt cheap for college students. Good food. I'm telling
Dirt
you,
cheap for
Wendy's.
college students.
Win-
That'd be good. I don't know. Oh, have you ever had a Culver's?
no, and I've
Oh
heard that it's
gosh.
good, but yeah, no. I okay. We're talking about this because we're talking about food, all right? And I've never had In and Out. I
Oh
know
my
I'm gonna make
gosh.
a lot of you people mad, but I've never had In and Out, and quite frankly, I really don't want to.
I had never been there before, but let me tell you, it is cheap and it is good. And it tastes it's pretty good for fast food.
I've heard a lot of people say that, but honestly, I do need to try it just to find out for myself.
But oh, another thing, a burger place. I kind of like Hardee's, but this would be even better than Hardee's, I think. Smash Burger.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say that place is good too. I don't really travel much outside the state of Oklahoma, so my fast food knowledge is fairly low and simple. Like I know Brahms, Sonic, Wendy's, Whataburger, like all the stuff that's in Oklahoma. But when you start getting stuff like Culver's, In and Out, that stuff like even Dairy Queen, there's very few Dairy Queens in Oklahoma.
Fun fact, where I grew up in Moorhead, Minnesota, we had the only Dairy Queen in the nation that stopped listening to corporate in the 50s. So it had the old menu with the old recipes, and it was I think, the best Dairy Queen I've ever been to in the nation.
We'll put out a poll out there for y'all to vote on, and we'll see what y'all think.
Again, that is at Stilly Social on Instagram and Twitter. And I think we have a Facebook, but nobody really uses Facebook. Follow us on Facebook if you want, but we don't really use it.
That'll do it for us this week. We hope that we kind of rejogged your memories of some of the fun stuff and interesting stuff that happened this year at OSU. And we're definitely looking forward to next semester, being able to reconvene, being able to see all y'all and all your great faces out there, and just to get everything back to normal.
Thank you for listening.
And have a good week. We'll see you all Friday. Before we leave y'all today, we need to give an update on the Stilly Social Podcast brand.
To begin, when we first started this podcast, we were aiming for it to be like a kind of, our motto is anything and everything. We're going to talk about anything and everything with kind of a lack of a centralized topic.
Recently, with suggestions from you, our listeners, we have decided to make the Stilly Social Podcast geared towards Oklahoma State University and the surrounding Stillwater area.
Each episode, we will have a centralized topic with interviews from knowledgeable people associated with Oklahoma State and from within the Stillwater community. We're going to gear our podcast mainly towards Oklahoma State college students because you are our audience.
Also, we would like to introduce a new member to our Stilly Social team.
We're going to introduce our new brand and marketing liaison, Morgan Stark, a mass communications major here at Oklahoma State. She's a big addition to this podcast team and will be helping with our social media, and she'll be helping with spreading our podcast to more of you guys.
Do you want updates and promos of our podcast? Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Stilly Social.
Thank you guys for hanging in there with us for these first couple episodes. We hope you'll enjoy